The best products do not always win, but the products that win are actually the products that can create habits or that become habitual that you can't get, let go of. Or the products that create mind monopoly are the products that become successful. And I read an amazing book called Hooked by Neer Ayal, and that book talks about actually how to build habit forming products. And this is such a wonderful or brilliant book. It gives you everything in step by step method that anybody can understand and can relate to. And it's a very simplified model. If you would apply, you will be able to reach out to, building that, you'll be able to create that habit forming product, or at least you'll have an idea to evaluate whether your products can create habits or can, become habitual for the customers or the consumers. If you have been planning to build the next successful product or next TikTok or next Instagram or next amazing product in whatever space you are in, you need to definitely read this book, because it will give you a step-by-step process to follow and analyze and implement so that you create something which will have the ability to become a habitual product. So the name of the book is Hooked, and Hook actually is an experience designed to connect the problems of your customers to the solution that your product provides. So consider you are building a product which solves XYZ problems. So your hook is all about connecting your customers' problems to the solution that you provide. And the more feasible, the more easier it is, the more easier the solution is, the more habitual people would become. So it talks about 4 major elements that can create a hook. The first thing being a trigger. Now a trigger can be an external trigger or an internal trigger. An external trigger is something, it could be as simple as, go there, click here, do this, do that, things like that. And an internal trigger is actually based on the, it is stored in your memory essentially. So easiest example to understand an internal trigger is the emotions, is the condition or the situation. So based on that you take an action based on whatever is saved in your memory. Now internal trigger, as they are saved in the memory. So for an example, if I get bored, what do? Either I go on Instagram and check the timeline, or I would switch on the TV, I'll start Netflix, or I will go on my laptop, or I'll go on my TV and start YouTube. Whatever activities I'll do, I'm programmed and I have stored that in memory. So the action that I'll take is triggered because of some. So these triggers actually lead to certain actions. Now when we talk about these actions, so every trigger should have an action. That is something that is that we are going to talk about. So the first step is having a trigger. The second thing is having an action. And now when we talk about the action, so action should be so simple and easy to do, like browsing the internet. I mean, at the today if I have to check Instagram, it is so easy. I'll just simply open the mobile app and I'll just scroll up and down, and that's it. So that is the easiest kind of thing that I can do, right? And why I do that is for the rewards. So the first thing is triggers, second thing is the action, and third thing is the rewards. I'll talk more about the action. So this book doesn't even leave you with just theories. It will give you more of a research kind of methodologies, research based methodologies that you can actually implement. So for an example, how you can form a behavior, or how you can create or induce a behavior, is given by a formula. So B is equal to MAT, where B stands for behavior, M stands for motivation, A stands for the ability, and T stands for the trigger. So if you have both of these three, you can create a behavior. Motivation, the energy to take an action. Ability, it should be, people should have the ability to be able to execute that action. That is also very, very important. Third is the trigger. So if you have all these three, you have the possibility of creating a behavior. So your actions can transform into a behavior while using the product. So that we need to understand. And when we are talking about the ability, so in a very simple format, the book explains, let's say you're giving a solution to a problem. Now that problem, all you have to do is, from the problem to the solution, you need to draw a journey, and you need to draw the that journey. Now that journey, whatever steps that you have taken, be it in terms of programmatically or whatever ways. So when you have created that journey, and you know that from point A, from the problem, you have solved the problem and the solution is at point B, and you have drawn that journey, all you have to do is take off these steps as much as possible, so that it becomes as less number of steps as possible to reach to the destination or to reach to the journey. And that's how you simplify the solution, and that's how you can make your actions more easier, and more you can make people more able to do that. And so we're talking about how to form a behavior. So motivation, ability, and triggers, internal, external, those kind of triggers that you can always have. Now, why would someone take an action? Again, that has been the which is the third major important point in the book, or in the hook model, is variable reward system. Now these variable reward system is further divided into three different parts. Now one is rewards of the tribe. Now rewards of the tribe, a reward of the tribe is actually about social rewards. So about community, about engagement. So why do you go on Facebook? So you go on Facebook to find out more about your people, get to know more about your family. So, and every time it changes, every time you have something new that you will get. So that varies essentially the kind of experience or the kind of reward that you are going to get on Facebook. So that's the reason you have the you call it as a variable reward, and you need to have that, so that people, every time people would come back, and that will become a habit essentially. Now second is rewards of the hunt. Now reward of the hunt is all about that myth and curiosity which is lying. So sometimes consider an example of booking website, or a coupons website, or a coupons application, wherein you can go, and every time when you go, you have some new offers coming in, you have some new surprises coming in. So you just try and grab that opportunity. You want to get those rewards every time, and it always changes. So that is something that you want to hunt, and you want to get that. So that that has been termed as reward of the hunt. And then finally is the reward of the of self, reward of self. Now reward of self, you can easily understand. Say for an example, when you play a video game, like I play Temple Run for example. So I'm really habitual to that game. I'll play at least 10-15 minutes every day, if not hours, at least some minutes I will play that game. So when I play that game, every time I would like to beat my own record. I'll try to accomplish something. So that becomes that sense of accomplishment is what the reward of self. So three rewards: reward of tribe, reward of hunt, reward of self. So essentially your application or your product should give a reward essentially to the consumers, so that they come back and again and again. And then the final thing is the investment. So you do an investment essentially, and then the cycle repeats from the trigger to the actions, variable rewards, investment, and that's how a product becomes a habitual product. I may not be doing justice to the book, honestly speaking, but when you read it, you will get the essence of it. And every chapter, the Nir has given examples of various products and services that you are already aware of, be it Snapchat or Facebook or Quora or Stack Overflow. So go read that book, and you will get more and more insights about how to create or how to build a habit forming product.